if you can do all the CFA questions comfortably, you will most probably pass the CFA examinations. Hi, I am Yazan. I passed all 3 levels of CFA examinations in my first try, and in this video I will try to explain how I did it and how I think you should do it. So the first thing is questions. I think you should do the CFA questions the most, because imagine yourself on the exam desk. You are seeing the exam screen. It won't ask you to explain any concepts or something like that. It will give you question and it will expect you to do the answer. So if you have a mastery on those questions, then you will most likely answer a lot of them correctly and pass. But if you did not have a mastery, then you will do a lot of those questions wrong and you will most likely not pass, right? So you will have to have a mastery on the exam questions. So the exams are asked by CFA Institute. So you have to have a mastery in the CFA questions. So by CFA questions, I mean all the end of chapter questions, all the examples, and all the website questions that the CFA Institute provides. But to be honest, I only did the book questions, all the end of chapter questions and all the examples, and I spent a lot of time on it, and I tried to have a mastery on it, and I think that's the reason I passed. Okay, and the second thing is the concept. Okay, I want you to imagine yourself on the exam desk again. So we know the CFA books are split into LOS, right? Learning outcome statements. So in the exam, will the exam ask you, okay, now explain this LOS? It won't do it like that, right? It will give you a question and it will expect an answer from you. So what I think you should do is you should start with the question. You should start with the question, and then you will not be able to do it, right? You haven't read the concepts. You haven't gone through the chapters, right? So you will fail miserably. So now what you can do is that once you finish the questions, going through it, okay, and then you go to chapters, you will naturally gravitate towards those concepts that would have been helpful for you in answering the questions that you failed just prior, right? So you will naturally, automatically by yourself know which concepts are more important for the questions and which concepts are not so asked by the questions, right? So it's not about, so some concepts are more useful in real life and what concepts are not that useful in real life. It depends case on case. In fact, there were a lot of concepts that I really liked, but they were not asked in the CFA curriculum, right? So I didn't spend a lot of time on it, and that was a good decision. Okay, and the third thing is the revision. I want again for you to imagine being 1 week away from your exam. So 1 week from now, if there is an exam, what will you do? So you will have to do all the questions and you will have to revise the concepts, right? So you will have to have a proper revision plan. The proper revision might be a summary book that you have prepared yourself or that you have bought. I cannot guarantee on the third party. So I marked on the concept while I was studying. Okay, so this is important because this was asked in the questions, right? So I marked a lot of important concepts, and then when I revised it later on, it was very fast. So you should have a proper revision because you have to revise all the concepts. So the revision should be done for all the concepts, and you should not leave out any concept. You should revise everything, right? And then you should do the exams during the last week. Sorry, not exam, but the questions during the last week, because they are the most helpful during the exams. And the fourth thing is especially important for level 3, because in level 3 what happens is that you don't have entirely multiple choice questions, right? You will have questions that you will have to type on. You'll have to type the proper answer, right? So you have to prepare for that. But once we open the CFA books and we see at the CFA answers, we see that they are very lengthy, right? So if we try to write all those answers in the exam, the time will run out, right? So what you should do, and what I did was, once I read the questions, I closed my eyes and I tried to formulate some answer in my mind, and then I compared that answer with the answer in the book, and I try to rationalize why my answer was wrong and why the book answer was right. Okay, once I understood why the book answer was right, I highlighted or marked the phrases that were most important in formulating the answer, and the thing that are important are the phrases and the order we write them in. So some concept comes in the front and the second concept comes in the second, right? So there's a chain of some concept or some logic, as you might say it, or some explanation that I will be able to write in the exam in 30 seconds or 1 minute, right? So that's what I did. You could come up with your own way, but that is what I did. And I had an idea of how I would write in exams, that I had a plan that I would first write a dash and space, and I would start my answer, and any new point I'll write a dash. Okay, so you'll have to read the official exam guidance to come up with your own way. And the fifth thing is the motivation and the time management. So the motivation takes care of itself, since you are doing questions first, you are failing, right? So you'll have some kind of, you'll want to know the concepts, right? Because we don't like failing, right? We don't like failing. We don't like giving up because we've already lost the questions, right? We couldn't come up with answers. We'll naturally want to understand the concepts. So I think the motivation takes care of itself, and you should surround yourself with other people that motivate you. And the time management thing, you'll have to figure it out yourself. Spend at least 3-4 hours every day, and that is difficult, I know it, but you'll have to manage it somehow. Okay, so I think that is the crux of it. And if you want to know anything, please ask. I'll be more than happy to answer. And I hope you have a nice time. Thank you. I hope you pass.